Good evening and welcome to Awakening Wednesday. As we celebrate this day and celebrate the divine magnificence that is unfolding in this very moment, perfect and divine timing, divine right action. We send this love and joy out into the world, knowing that as we open our hearts, as we embrace the magnificence of spirit, we share that love with everyone. We will, we can, and we are love. And it is my joyous divine right to share love with all. So in this divine moment, I release this loving knowingness and just anchor into the divine magnificence that I and my father, my brother and sister are one. We breathe the breath of this, we breathe the power of love, and we walk in the love of God. There is a power, a presence, one life of all, and no other power can exist outside of the infinite. One love, God's love. Oh yes, I know that I walk. Yes, I walk in the love of God. There is a wisdom and a knowing, a loving and a truth. Whatever you need to know will come in God's way for you. Just say, I'll pray. I won't move until I know that I walk in the love of God. For the power and the glory and the love of God is everywhere. Can't you see it? Everywhere. Can't you feel it? Everywhere. And you know in your heart the power and the glory and the love of God is everywhere. Don't you see it? Everywhere. Don't you feel it? Everywhere. Don't you know it? Every heart I walk in the love of God. There is a power and a presence, one life of all. No other power can exist outside of the infinite. One love, God's love. Oh yes, I know that I walk. Yes, I walk in the love of God. For the power and the glory everywhere. Praise God everywhere. Don't you know it? Everywhere. Can't you see it? Everywhere. Praise God everywhere. Feel the blessings everywhere. Don't you know it? Everywhere. And I know in my heart that I walk in the love of God. 'Cause there is a power and a presence. One life, one life, one life for all. No other power can exist outside of the infinite. One love, God's love. Oh yes, I know that I walk. Yes, I walk in the love of God. Linda Ely, yes, yes. Thank you, Linda. And good afternoon, good evening on this beautiful, hot summer San Diego day. So today in the house, we have on the platform, well, someone I've known a very long time. And so I know that whatever is going on, Rickie Byars is scheduled to be here today, and something's going on because she hasn't checked in yet. So I want all of you to know with me that all is well, and that right where she is, the divine order and purpose of God is unfolding. So how great and crazy is this? Because life has things that happen. They do. And we get to see who we truly are in the moment when it's unfolding. And so I'll take this opportunity for us to just open up our heart space even wider. Because as we know, Black Lives Matter is really on the forefront. COVID-19 out on the forefront. And living a good life out on the forefront. And so what we find ourselves trying to do is, how do we live in the midst of this? Because it's happening all right now. For me, I say we live in the change. We live in the infinite possibility that change is happening, and I must be a part of that. I must be a part of divine right action moving into a different space, into a different place. And I know you see these musical notes behind me. One of the most beautiful things about music is that music comes from a place that I just heard me talking back to me. So music is this divine space of creativity that allows us to live in a space that has no time, that has no grounding, that affords you the opportunity to open up at the top, to open up on the sides. Being in a creative process, being in this divine place to allow music and art and sculpture and writing to come through, the heart space has to be open. And we think that just in creative prospects, the heart space has to be open. But the truth is, in order to do anything, the heart space has to be open. We have to allow love in that's already there so that we can let that love out. And for so long, some of us have either shut off our faucet. You know, love is one of these most amazing things that when you are in the glow of it, life just seems to hum along like a harmony note. It just bounces along. But when you're outside of it, you feel as though you're trapped and by yourself. But true love, you're never by yourself, because divinity, that which you are, is love. And so I want you to open up to this possibility that whatever is going on for you right now, that you have to love yourself through it. And in loving yourself through it, that doesn't mean that you have to judge. You know, judgment is a tricky thing. I love this, constructive criticism. And then there's judgment. I'm just giving you a suggestion. And then there's critiquing. And the vibration of the words will show you where you are, what you're open to receive. But anything that we do in life, if you practice it, you will get better at it. But being open to hear what you may not be able to see what you may not be able to hear, and knowing the difference that everyone that gives you suggestions or criticism, they're not coming from love. And that's up to you to determine. But keeping your heart space open no matter what, that becomes the true quest. That becomes this divine opportunity that we have right now. To keep our heart space open, to allow the music to play through in the midst of not knowing, in the midst of being afraid, in doubt, in hesitation. How do we keep the heart space open? And that's a great question for me today. How do I keep the heart space open? I know our chat line is up on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on our webpage. So I'm going to invite you to tell me how you keep your heart space open. I'll share with you that I keep my heart space open by trusting. By trusting that no matter what I'm looking at, the divine being is in it. And sometimes that's been very, very tricky. That's been very, very tricky. But with practice, it starts to be a part of you where you trust what you can't see and believe what you feel and move. We put so much weight on what you can see when that is really not, that's not even a tenth of what's going on. We, most of the time, never see what's really happening. But you can always feel it. You can feel what's happening. When you trust that the vibration of what's unfolding in and through you is leading you, you can never be led astray. Because you will stand in a space of knowingness that's right there. So, as we take this journey this evening, we settle into this possibility that there is a new awakening taking place within you, that your music is playing in and through you right now, that in this very moment, you have the divine possibility to change your old thinking, to change the thoughts that you thought were your safeguard, and to move into something you don't know, but to something that's going to take you to a higher level of consciousness. I mean, that's what this beautiful thing called life is all about. Shifting to a higher level of consciousness. Some of us have stayed in the lower realms for so long, we think that that's reality. It is merely an experience that you continue to live over and over again. No one can change our experience or our reality but us. And we're being called with a mighty summons right now. We're being pushed. There's this beautiful phrase that I love. We're either pulled by the vision or pushed by the pain. And on some days, we have a little bit of both. So we are being called right now to this higher level of consciousness, to this musical melody that we maybe have heard once or twice, but really trying to fine tune our ears and our inner awareness to tap into it. Because when we tap into this higher vibration, we tap into a whole new way of living. We tap into solutions that we have been seeking, that have been waiting for us. We tap into a greater expansion of who we are. Are you ready? Or will you get afraid and settle and go back to what you know? There's a feeling amongst a lot of people that, okay, Black Lives Matters is happening right now, but we don't want to go back because we've touched the hem before and nothing moved forward. COVID-19, we're coming out of the woods. We don't want to go back to quarantine. So what do we do? Some of the work that we have to do is consciousness. It is the divine consciousness within each of us. And the beautiful thing, as always, is that everybody doesn't have to do it the same way. Isn't that spectacular? I mean, you could do you and shift to your higher level of consciousness. I can do me and shift to my higher level of consciousness. And in that, there is a divine harmony and grace that unfolds. How incredible is that? I was out walking today, and it's pretty hot in San Diego. I love heat. So there wasn't humidity earlier. It was just hot. And I was huffing up this hill, and this guy is blowing, they blow the dirt around. They blow the divine divinity of nature all over the place. And so I was glad to put on my mask that Linda L. made for me because I can breathe still, but it blocked some of the weeds and the dust. And when he looked up, because he was looking down, and when he looked up and he saw me, he stopped immediately. And I said, "Oh, thank you." And just then, 3 butterflies flew in between us. And we both looked, because how many times do you see 3 in one time? beautiful big butterflies. They were flying, fluttering right in between us. And as I made it up to the top of the hill, all three of them followed me. I thought, wow. You know, we love to look for signs. Oh, that's a sign. The world is changing. That's a sign. And I had to laugh at myself because the sign is always within you. Yes, butterflies are beautiful and I adore them. But if we keep looking for something, that means we don't have it. And so it reminded me to remember that the moment I can feel it within me, it is done. That took me to the space of recognizing that I don't have to ask the universe for anything anymore. Because the universe always says yes. There is no no in the universe. So what would be the point of asking? We ask because we believe we don't have it. So we're here now in this space of consciousness thinking we don't have unity. We don't have divine health. We don't have financial abundance. We don't have. We're thinking we don't have, so we have to ask. Be it in prayer, in meditation. And trust me, I believe in prayer and meditation. But this awakening took me to another level that if I don't have to ask, then what is mine to do? It is to allow. Mine is to allow that which I feel the vibration of to come through me and be in the receptive place of receiving it. I was like, whoa. How cool is that? I and my Father are one. In this oneness, as I receive it within my spirit, it is done. I've been told that for as long as I've been involved in this spiritual walk. And in the beginning, I was like looking for the magic genie. I was like, okay, let me rub the genie. Let me rub the genie. And for those of you that are just joining us, this was to be an evening with Rickie Byars. I know my sister, so I'm just holding her that everything is in perfect and divine order. I haven't heard from her, so just surround her in loving light and prayers and know that all is well. All is well. And if she just forgot, I'm going to knock her upside her head. Whoops, upside the head. But that's not like her. So I'm knowing that wherever she is, whatever is going on, I just bless to know that the divine is happening, just to give you an update. So we are in this journey of understanding our role in a greater sense. Understanding how music and creativity, how it allows us to receive the magnificence of spirit. When we're in those places of creative expression, time loses all sense. I don't know about you, but as a kid, I was a big daydreamer. And my brother, a bigger daydreamer than me. He used to get on his report card, Jadelle daydreams in class all day. And it drove my mother crazy. But coming around, understanding that to daydream, and sometimes we daydream that bad things are going to happen. I know you didn't want to hear me say it, but it's true. Our daydreams should be for the joy and the beauty. If you find yourself daydreaming that something dreadful is going to happen, stop. Stop. So as a kid, I daydreamed, and I was an only child till I was almost 11. So I had a lot of imaginary friends that sometimes my mother would say, Gino, you and your friends need to go to bed. Can you put you and your friends to bed? I don't want to hear another peep out of anybody. Because I would say, Mama, it's not me talking. Whoever it is, I don't want to hear them either. So as I got older, I kind of steered away from daydreaming, only to come back to this space recognizing the power and beauty of daydream and the fun of it. Daydreaming is fun. When you're in this place of imagining something that fills your heart. See, I get now that daydream is you there. Spirit is already there. And that's a little bit of a window that's opening up for you. We want to start daydreaming more. We want to be as little ones and bring our imaginary friends into this space that take our hearts to a place of joy and light and love. Because when we do that, we love to say we become childlike, but we become godlike. We become more godlike than ever because we see nothing but infinite possibilities. We see the mountain not as something blocking, but something that's holding us up, taking us from one mountaintop to another. We see things so differently, and right now, we need to see things differently. Not give up, not give out, but persistence. Stepping into the divine, stepping into that which we call forth, and trusting that when we don't know to go right or left, we will trust that we will be led. So I said to you guys last week that turning on your reality, turning on your new reality. And so I'm going to ask you this week to daydream. I'm going to ask you to just have some of the most outrageous daydreams, either in the morning when you get up or, I have become a real big proponent of if something hits me, I will pull over in my car and just play. Because I don't want to wait until I get somewhere. I don't want to wait, and then I let the magic, I let the moment of the universe that's talking to me, I put it on hold. Hold, God, I'll be right with you. I don't want to put God on hold. So I will pull my car over and to sit and daydream, to just feel the presence of spirit. To daydream. It doesn't have to be about a big thing. Actually, I'm going to say, make it be something very general. If you daydream about something that you've wanted and you don't see it in your life, don't daydream about it, because chances are you're daydreaming that it's not going to happen. That is not the daydream. You want to daydream about something really fun. I daydream about nature, and it shows up for me in ways that are just amazing. 3 butterflies. I mean, come on. That's outrageous. So this week, spending some time daydreaming. And for those of you that love to journal, if you want to write down some energy or vibration or thoughts, or, I get hits. Ooh, turn here, Gino. And that intuition, every day I'm practicing when I hear it to do it. And I sometimes speak out loud. Gino, it said, do the phone call now. Not in 10 minutes, not in 15 minutes, but right now. Call now. And I'm finding the connection. And I know we've all heard this, but we have to do it and then recognize, become aware that, oh, I did it and this is what happened. I took the left, and when I made that left, there was something going on to the right of me that I avoided. You want to start recognizing that the work that you're doing, that it's working. Don't take those things as just little bitty subtle things. They don't mean anything. They mean everything. Everything. I called a dear friend of mine today that I hadn't spoken to in forever. And just before I called them, I thought, oh, I'd love to speak to the whole family. Well, sure enough, they were in the car, and they saw my face pop up, and the whole family was in the car. That's so, the entire family, dogs included. And I said, wow, I listened and I called and I received what I asked for. We can't take those type of things for granted, that it means nothing. It means everything. It means you're in alignment with your divine spirit. It means you're in alignment with what you're calling forth. It means you are practicing the presence of spirit. So this week, daydreaming, I'm so excited. And if you feel like it, you can email me some of your best daydreams or what the feeling was like daydreaming. If you can daydream every day, and it doesn't have to be for 20, 30 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, even 1 minute. Just taking that time to daydream about something. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Actually, I think it's even better if it's just a general thing. And just notice how your body, how your energy, how your vibration, what's coming in and out during this week. I don't know how many of you did the emails. I had a great time writing myself emails. I had an amazing time writing emails. And actually, for me, what's really great is that I haven't worked on any new music in a long time. And so there were some new songs that came through. And I was like, oh, yeah. Because I was in a playful, loving space. I know amongst everything that's going on, we do want to stay focused and we want to stay committed. But there's nothing serious about God. To be able to hear the call, we have to be in a loving space. Not in a fearful space or in an angry space or in a dreading space, but in a loving space. When we think about some of our great teachers, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, Malcolm X, the Buddha, they all took a different road, but the common denominator was love. Some of our teachers, Ernest Holmes, love. At the core of all that is unfolding and that we're doing, love. Oh, I think that'll be a great song to do when we come back. Our loving, do you have that, Linda? Our loving will change? Oh, that'll be awesome. Not just yet, but I'm like, oh, that feels like, yeah, that'll be a great song. You know, even though Rickie's not here, this is all Rickie music that we're doing today in celebration of her. And I will say in regards to Rickie that for me, she is the godmother of New Thought music. That, you know, New Thought teaching, it definitely wasn't Catholic, it wasn't Baptist, it wasn't sanctified. And so it was like, where do we pull the music from? How do we have this musical expression? And what they created was this to me, it was, because Rickie from the South, she, you know, we tease one another. She a little country girl. And I think she was raised Baptist. I'm not sure, don't quote me, but the energy of that music, of Baptist music, of gospel music, I love the energy, but, you know, some of the lyrics were, you know, the sin, damnation, and hell, but managed to marry. It was kind of like when Ray Charles married gospel and R&B together. There was this sexiness, but there's a soul about it, a real soul. And so, you know, as I began to travel around to different spiritual communities, their music was played everywhere. I mean, there wasn't one spiritual center, be it Unity or at that time New Thought or religious science that didn't use that music, because that music was in between. It was a space of celebrating God without feeling punishment. It was a joy and jubilant expression of God without the silence. I was raised Catholic, and I've told this story before that I was in the choir, and they were doing "Oh Happy Day." And now my mother was raised Baptist, and I would hear my grandmother around the house singing. And she would sing "Oh Happy Day." I was so excited. I was like, "Oh, I know this song." I was a kid. I was like, "Yay, I know this song." And you had students and nuns that were in the choir. And so I was leaning into "Oh Happy Day." And they said, Miss Walker, that is not what we're doing." I'm like, we're doing "Oh Happy Day." And I probably was in maybe the 5th or 6th grade. And the nun looked at me and said, "If you do that again, Gino, we're not doing that." And I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, okay. They started again, and I leaned in again. "Whoa, it's a happy, happy day." Miss Walker. I didn't know what. So she took me from the front and put me in the back of the choir. "One more time, and I'm going to ask you to leave." So, I'm going in, and all I got into, "Hey, it's a happy, happy." "Get out, Gino. Get out." It's like, okay. So when I get home, my mother gives me just outright grief. "You're supposed to be in choir rehearsal. What are you doing here?" And I was trying to explain, but sometimes mamas don't let you talk. They doing all the talking. "I tell you, Gino, you know what? Go to your room." I was like, back to back. So that Sunday when we went to church, the choir started singing "Oh Happy Day," and I was sitting with my friends, and it was "Oh Happy Day." And I'll never forget, my mother found me with my friends, and she looked at me and said, "I'm sorry." She knew Flora Dawson had been singing some "Happy Day," and it wasn't like that. And little did I know the difference at that time to articulate, but I did know what I felt, and I felt the choir needed me. I felt they needed that little pick me up. But Sister Patricia did not feel that way. So I do say that Rickie is the godmother of New Thought music, and along with that, we've had some other amazing artists that have come through to create this avenue of music that I know one day will be in the Grammys, because this consciousness spread so, and the music, you just feel good. Everybody has a different calling in music, but I think with all of us, as Jimi Hendrix said, music is my religion. Music is my religion. And music is that what feeds the soul. So Linda was ready for me. Now, let's do "Our Loving Will Change the World," because love, next week we have Margot Alora that'll be talking about angels. And so think about a new definition for love. I know we have this, "Oh, I want to love somebody. I want to love somebody." And I asked this woman one time, I said, "Do you love you?" And she looked at me like, "What?" I said, "Well, you want me or somebody else to love you, but do you love yourself?" And she had no answer. And I said, "Well, don't put all the work on us. I'm going to need you to love you." Love, love, love. One more time with the love. Love, love, love everybody. Love, love, love when it's hard to love. Love, our loving will change the world. Share, 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 share everybody. Share, share, share when it's hard to share. Share, our sharing will change the world. Care, 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 care for each other. Care, care, care when it's hard to care. Care, our caring will change the world. And sing, 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 everybody sing, sing, sing when it's hard to sing. Sing, our singing will change the world. Sing, 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 everybody singing, singing, sing when it's hard to sing. Sing, our singing will change the world. Our caring will change the world. Our sharing will change the world. Our loving will change. Our loving will change. Oh, believe your loving will. Your loving will change the world. That was sweet, Linda. That was really sweet. So we find ourselves at this space. I want you to remember this upcoming week, daydream. Spend some time daydreaming. If you also enjoy journaling, write that down. Write down the feelings and things that are coming up. Also write down those wonderful little hits that you follow through on, that divine intuition that hits you, that maybe to call a friend or to turn left here or go down the aisle in the store here. And look at all the ways that God is talking to us constantly. I believe that this divine universe is constantly communicating with us, that when we are open to receive it, when our faucet is open, when your faucet is open for love, you will let nothing and no one stop the joy that is within you, because can't nobody take your joy that's within you. So I'm looking forward to exploring your new reality, turning on the new you, becoming aware of this new person that is unfolding right before our very eyes. Oh, excuse me. So this is our conscious giving time right now. I would like for all of you out there, you know, our community, Universal Spirit Center, does a lot. And because of you, we're able to do that. Because of your gifts and your time and your awareness to everything that's going on, we are a better global community because of you. Oh, excuse me. Yes, I don't know, something must have went down the wrong pipe. So, giving to Universal Spirit Center is one of the most magnificent ways that, oh, thank you. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surrounds us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surrounds us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. You know, here at Universal Spirit Center, we have classes going all the time. We have a nightly meditation at 7 o'clock. You go into our webpage, universalspiritcenter.org, and just chime in. It's a wonderful way to decompress if you're feeling confused or lost or just wanting to have some camaraderie to see a familiar face. Bring your friends as well. Jonas has a class coming up. Donna has a class, and so does Liza. Go to our webpage and check out some of these amazing classes, because everything right now is here to take us to a higher level of consciousness. And truly, living in a higher vibration just opens the heart in such a way that love is where you live all the time. Love is where you grow from. Love. I had the pleasure recently of taking care of a friend of mine's yard. And I have to say, I said to her, I got to give you much pub, because I had no idea the commitment that it took. I was clueless. And her backyard is spectacular, but there are hundreds of flowers and pots and dot, dot, dot. And she said it takes about an hour, and I thought, she doesn't know what she's talking about, right? The ego. But in the midst of it, I realized, like, wow, with the watering and the sweeping, the mindfulness of recognizing God in every plant. And I moved from let me hurry up to, oh, I just want to enjoy you. Looking at every plant that had a different expression, different colors, and it all came from within it. And each and every one of them were so divinely supported because of love. Because they were watered in love, they were paid attention to, they were important. And so are you. We are important. So remember your importance here on this planet. It's not to get, and it's not just to give, but it is to expand earth as we know it. It is to leave this place in a higher level of vibration, so that when you come back around again, you'll have new toys and new wonderful ways to express and to grow. Blessing the life that you are allows you to just pour forth the love all over you. I look forward to seeing you again. Hopefully next week. Don't forget, it's daydreaming this week. Daydreaming, daydreaming, daydreaming. If you like to journal, make some notes. I love that, Linda. I was trying to catch the lyrics, and So this is an opportunity to daydream and have fun, to become not just childlike, but godlike. In the midst of your day, stop looking at what's not working and take 2 minutes out to daydream about what could be, without any obligation. No obligation, just pure fun. Just a divine opportunity to check in and feel that love. Let the love pour all over you. I say to my sister Rickie, I love you. Call me. I'm knowing that all is well. And we'll have to do this again. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Joy, joy, joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. Peace, peace, peace. We let the peace wash over each and every one of us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. Love, 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 love. We let the love wash over us. We let the love be. I love you, Universal Spirit Center. Have a great, great week. Daydream.